In your father's later years, did he have specific thoughts about the future of the garden?
His thoughts were, a lot of this is, you know, over the dinner table, you know, you talk about certain areas or what, and like the creek, you know, that coming in. Well, if you lowered one end and have it so you could see the creek water, things like that. You know, more quite vague, but you know, like to do things like that. And then on the hillside, you know, where from the pond down to the lower level, that actually that part there we couldn't grow anything because, you know, it was pretty swampy. But since you put a drain in there, you know, talked about, you know, maybe putting a big pond in there and things like that, but it was, you know, vague, you know, I mean, nothing concrete and things like that.
Over the period of years since he passed away, have you thought of lots of specific things that you would like to see happen?
Well, yeah, but you know, people, it's more a dream than what it will come to. But someday, you know, if there's enough money or if there's enough, I kind of feel that the part that he was talking about, you know, if you put a good size water pond there, it'll be the center of the whole garden and make it quite attractive. Also, you know, I thought about, this is just my thoughts, but you know, making say what do you call that now, where water comes over, you know, water wheel type of thing, kind of crickety old thing, and make your surrounding just so that, you know, it's meant to be there, and it'd be a center of conversation, and yet it'd be part of the gardens type of thing, you know. So on and on, there's a lot of things, but mainly it's a center of interest there, you know, taking the whole 20 acres. So, and then I often think about, you know, if it gets to be a regional garden, that how the entrance will be, kind of gates and things like that. Well, you know, those things go through my mind, and I'm sure my dad did too.
It's been almost 25 years now since he passed away, and how would he react to the garden now?
I think if he was here, I think he'd be really happy to see the gardens where lots of people come and enjoy it, you know. Especially.
What did your father see the purpose of the garden being?
Well, I don't know, but he said that he liked to build something that people could enjoy, you know, when they come and relax and enjoy is the main thing. So, well, I think more or less you know, build from what he'd done, and then just keep building other things, you know, to flow the same way, you know, so that you can enjoy.
Tom, could you tell us a little bit about the gardening business in the 1940s after returning from World War II?
Well, I think we had some challenging jobs. We had the Seattle University, you know, to do. Each time they put a building up, well, we were almost given a free hand to do a lot of things. And so it kept us going. But right now, well, instead of we try to stay out of maintenance work as much as possible and go into construction. So that's what we...
Let's talk a little bit about Seattle University and the work that you did there. How did you get started there? Well,
actually, CLU was just beginning. You know, they had one building. That our arts building was the first building besides the real old building they had there, and we helped them design a little bit of what's there, and then they had to vacation the street, and they didn't know exactly how to block it off, and we gave them some suggestion, and it had to be wide enough for a fire truck to go through, you know, all that bit. But they really, CLU was struggling as far as finance goes, and we kind of worked together when their funds were low. We, you know, we did less elaborate work, and that's how we got started. Then every time they tear a building down and put a new one in, so forth, well, we had our hands in it. So.
How many years did you work there?
Oh, I don't know. I used to tell people that they asked me where do I go, and I said I go to CLU. They thought I was a student. But we worked there for long. They put up the Campion and the library, and the last job we did was that the physical education on 14th. So we did a lot of buildings.
And who did you work with there?
Well, there used to be a Father Nichols, and he was in charge of the grounds, and he was very good person to work with. He gave us a free hand on a lot of things, and his interest was you know, making the place real nice. So we worked with him. It was very good job.
You did an extensive amount of work at the Bloedel Reserve. Could you share some stories of that?
Well, we worked across the Sound at Bainbridge for Bloedel's. They call it Bloedel Reserve right now, and we did quite a bit of work on the Japanese garden, and then we also fixed up a lot of areas that had a problem. So
can you elaborate on some of your experiences at the Bloedel Reserve? How you came about to make the Japanese garden ponds and so on?
Well, on the Japanese garden, we had to dam up, in order to make the pool, we had to dam up the pond that they did have. It used to be a continuous pond, and we dammed it up, and we made the Japanese garden one section. And the ponds were too deep, and in order to make everything work, well, we had to take down a certain area of ground to fill the pond up. and my dad had problems with Mr. Bloedel. He didn't want that down, and he said he gotta do it or he can't do anything. So while he was on his business trip, well, we did it. We went and bulldozed it, and we filled the pond up and got the grade, and so that's how that's shaped, you know.
What was Mr. Bloedel's response when he returned?
Well, it was a little too late, but he said, well, his reason was that he didn't want to take the dirt down because of the trees, you know, and he figures that the tree will fall down, but my dad said he'd guarantee it won't. But anyways, that's what he did, you know, he made it low on one. So, but I think Mr. Bloedel, he wasn't too knowledgeable on landscaping, and after a while, well, he started to understand, you know, what makes it look good.
So now that the city has owned the property for a number of years, how do you feel that have they dealt with it?
Well, when the city bought it, I thought that maybe that they will they won't take care of it just right, and it might go to pots at first. But after a little bit, when Don Brooks and the city came in, they really were dedicated people, and they really doing a good job taking care of the gardens. And the family really feel happy, you know, that it happened that way.
The Kubota Garden Foundation has also become a very important part of the garden. You've been involved with that from the beginning. How do you feel about that group as well?
Well, I'm really fortunate that we have an organization like the Kubota Garden Foundation, because people that more and more we get members, and the people that involve in it seem to have the same goal as what the family wants, and in a short time they have come a long ways. My kids, so forth, I think has the same feeling to make this garden something worthwhile.
It's been a special place for me to work, so great.